And hello, everybody, and welcome to Jeep Fun. I'm Tim Hansen, and we're going to take an adventure here this evening. And I'm saying this evening because, as you can see, the sun is starting to go down. The date stamp on this video actually shows it to be, March 15th of 2014. This actually was approximately June 15th of 2018. And we got a late start this day. However, we did plan on camping up here, so where we're going to go, we'll just kind of make a late drive, and we're going to have a little bit of night driving out of it too to get where we're going. It's called Hidden Trail, and Hidden Trail is outside of Idaho Springs. We're going to take what's called Fall River Road, and there's several ways you can get into Idaho Springs, but we chose this way because on your right, if you look down, there is Clear Creek, and Clear Creek dumps into Golden, Colorado. Actually, it goes onto the Platte River, but if you've heard about the Rocky Mountain spring water, well, this is it. It's coming out of the mountains here. So on your right-hand side, we've got Clear Creek and mountain on the left. Where we're at on the left is actually where we're going to end up on the top of the mountain that's over to your left. So we're going to come on into Idaho Springs, and I highly recommend you come to Idaho Springs, do plan on spending a little bit of time here. It's a wonderful little community, a little mountain town. There's a lot of sights to see here. You've got whitewater rafting, you've got a mine tour, there's museums. It's a blast. The historic downtown area has a lot of curio shops, gift shops. There's pizza, all kinds of restaurants, brew pubs. You'll find about anything that you're looking for here. It's a great little town, great people, and a lot of beautiful scenery here. So out of Idaho Springs, we take what's called Montaigne, and that's actually, I think, a residential area. But that leads you on up. If you go to the dead end, it leads you right up to Hidden Trail, which is what you're seeing us on now. Now, Hidden Trail is one lane. If you see somebody coming at you, you're going to have to pull over to the side of the road and let them pass, or they're going to have to pull over and let you pass. There's not room for two vehicles. I highly recommend something with ground clearance. You don't necessarily need to have four-wheel drive on Hidden Trail. I recommend it. But you do have to have ground clearance. Do not attempt to take your Prius up here because you're going to have a heck of a time trying to find somebody that will come up with a tow truck and drag you out. A lot of rocks, a lot of bumps, and there's places where ground clearance is required. You also want to take it kind of slow. If you're watching this right here, you're kind of seeing us. We're going at about 10 miles an hour or less. The left side of this trail that you see right here going up is pretty much straight down. You don't have a lot of room for error here. And a lot of bumps and stuff. But I would say it's a beginner's trail. But it is fun. Now you are going to find some places where you're tilted a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. Don't let that freak you out. Another thing that I highly recommend is if it is raining or going to rain, this is not a trail to go on. There's a lot of water runoff here, and the road gets flooded, and the road gets really slippery, even with just rain. And I've tried this trail in the wintertime. Depending on the amount of snow, sometimes I've been successful, and other times I have turned around and gone back because it was too treacherous. Like I said, with your straight drop off on the left side going up, you don't have a margin of error. Now here's a classic example of one of the little bumps in the road, just kind of a sweep up and down. And you can see I turned my headlights on here as it is becoming dusk. Now, just about every switchback on this trail requires some ground clearance. It gets washed out, and it gets washed out bad. And you got a lot of big rocks in a lot of places. You gotta watch the Jeep here as it trudges across some of the rocks. They're really hard to see, with the dash cam. But here's a place here you're gonna need some ground clearance. Just kind of watch it. Try and keep yourself level. For those of you that already know how to go off-roading, don't need to tell you that, but you want to try and stay as level as possible. Another neat thing about Hidden Trail is if you want a quick getaway from Denver, this is a place to go. It's 40 minutes from Denver. There's a lot of primitive camping sites. You don't have to pay. You just got to find a place to pitch your tent. And kind of hard to find the level spot, but there's a lot of places up here you just camp. See the fire pit there off to your right, somebody built. And you'll find during the summertime, spring and summer, early autumn, you do have some homeless people who live up here. Don't take that in a bad way. They're good people. They don't leave a mess. They've always been good to clean up after themselves and keep things tidy, which is good. And remember, if you bring something up, take it back out with you. I have never seen a Mary Maid car up here yet. And this is a trail that we have adopted unofficially. We clean it up every spring. And just about every spring we'll pack out about 18 bags of garbage up here. Now, another thing about camping up here on Hidden Trail is I have seen mountain lions and bears. Never had any problems with them. In fact, something that we kind of learned is we'd go hiking and we would see bags of trash that were strewn all over the place. And recently, this last summer, we discovered that our resident mountain lion, who inhabits the area we camp in, waits for you to go to bed and then steals your trash bag if you leave it out. And then he takes it into the woods and tears it apart to find something good to eat. So make sure you put your trash away, tie it up someplace. If you're sleeping in your car, I don't recommend putting it in there. In fact, I don't recommend putting your trash inside your car at all because a bear will actually tear your car apart to get to food. And mountain lions might get up on the top of it, but it's just a good idea to keep everything hoisted. Bury your excess food, anything that's biodegradable, bury it, and clean things up if you're going to camp up here. And don't leave food out. Don't leave your cooler out. I highly recommend hoisting that or putting it inside your vehicle. Keep your food sealed up. Now, as you can see, it's kind of switched here. On our right is straight down, and on the left we have some forest. And it gets kind of rough into here, and we're going to be making another switchback curve up here in just a moment. This is a beautiful place to go. From up here, at this height, and we're going to go up another probably 1,500 to 2,000 feet on this trail. But you can see all of Idaho Springs, the entire valley. You can probably see 10 miles in either direction of Interstate 70 from up here. No, I guess we're not to the switchback yet on this one here. You will see there are a few places that if you did encounter another vehicle that you could pull over and allow them to pass. Just be courteous. So I believe we're coming up here to the other switchback now. As you can see, it's starting to get dark and my headlights are starting to be useful. We do have a big overhead spotlight that I think we put on later into this video before we finally get to our camp spot. As you can see, there was another little pull off there for camping. There are some big rocks there. Like I said, not a place you want to take your car. You're going to tear up stuff. But I mean, you can make it up here if you've got a pickup truck, a small SUV, whatever. It's a great drive, a great beginner trail for people who just want to get out and play and get some nature, get some sun. This is the place to do it. And again, it's close to Denver. So if you're in the Denver area, it's a real quick little trip. I mean, you can leave at noon and be back by 4 or 5 o'clock and have driven the entire trail. Now the drop off here is on our left, and we've got mountain to the right. And as you can see, this right here gets pretty rough right through this curve. A lot of rocks, a lot of uneven ground. And you see the Jeep's kind of waddling over it. And then again, it smooths out. Now keep in mind there are some areas, and you'll see it posted, that's private property. Please don't enter into private property. Respect the property owner's rights. And respect the trail. One thing we've had a problem with up here is shooters. And I'm not knocking everybody that's a shooter and target practicing. But people have come up here and brought abandoned campers and shot them up into little pieces. They bring televisions and they leave this stuff up here, and no one's up here to clean it up. You gotta clean it out. Another thing I don't understand is shooting a perfectly healthy tree as your target. That is irresponsible shooting. So if you're a shooter, please respect the natural environment, respect the trees. And if you take something up here, bring it back with you. Now, if you want to leave your shell casings, I totally say, hey, leave those, because we gather those up and we take them in and we get them recycled. So yeah, if you want to leave your shells up here, you know, they do bring us some money in recycling. Here's a pretty rough little switchback here that's kind of difficult to get around. You can see I'm kind of slowing it down here, but it's pretty unlevel. And we're going to make this curve here. And up we go some more. And now our cliff side is to the left. And we have mountain to the right. Now this video gets a little dark here until I finally decide to turn on the off-road lights. But it's easily navigated. Even with just a regular headlights, you don't need anything fancy for this. Just take it slow and easy. Pretty smooth going on this little stretch here. But when we get up to the next switchback, that gets rough again. Like I said, there's so much water runoff when it rains that it erodes the road. And you end up with a lot of exposed rocks and ruts. And up we go here. I think we can see the curve up here now, the switchback. You see this kind of goes up and drops down. We got some rocks in here, make it a little rough. And as we come up to this next little stretch here, again it gets kind of roughed out a little bit. From this curve right here, you really have a view of Idaho Springs in the valley. And you can also see Mount Evans from up here. Just an amazing view. You know, a lot of people seem to think that they have to spend a lot of money to build a Jeep. And Old Red, that's what I named my Jeep. Old Red, I paid $1,000 for it, and I've put several thousand into it. But you know what? I've had $1 million worth of fun in it. It is Red's my 15th Jeep Cherokee. And my 16th is a 1996 that we're building right now. And here's a kind of a rough little curve that we go around. And we make it on around the curve. Now we got a few little turns into here. Like I said, you want to come and take it slow here because, you know, on the right-hand side is cliff. And the left-hand side, of course, is mountain. You're just winding around this is what you're doing. Here's a pretty rough area right here. You can kind of, the headlights kind of grabbed it. You can watch the vibration here as you crawl over some rocks and go through some ruts. Definitely wouldn't want to get a car right in here. You're going to get stuck. And we made it through that. And here's a little oopsie daisy in the middle of the road. There we go. And we are heading into another switchback. Now make sure you keep it wide when you take these switchbacks. Take it slow, take it wide. And here we go back straight again. Now the cliff is on our left and the mountainside is on our right. Now this area, when you start getting up here, is the time that you, if you need four-wheel drive, you're going to need it in here now. The road starts to tend to get a little rougher up here. Now it's less traveled. Not a lot of people come up to this height. And if you noticed, we haven't ran across anybody yet. I do believe we see a pickup up here. When we make this turn, and there it is. So somebody else is camping right here. Starting to get dark. From the vantage point of the driver's seat, I can see fine. It may not appear that way with headlights, but I can see fine at this point in time. And higher and higher and higher we go. Right now I would guess that we are probably at about 10,000 feet altitude right now. Like I said, if you're going to need four-wheel drive, this is about the point where you might want to think about turning back around where that truck was and going down, or continue on up. Depends on your bravery. How brave are you? I have taken this in a two-wheel drive pickup before and have been fine. My old 2005 Nissan pickup. Kind of got into some smooth area here. We're going to go up here about a quarter of a mile. And then we're going to hit another switchback. And we keep climbing. You can see the light off in the distance. It's a house, I think, on the other side of the pass there. So this is a place now you want to kind of just keep it slow, keep it steady, stay in the center of the road. I'm going to turn some overhead lights on now. Now you can get an idea of what we're going through. So cliff on the left, mountain on the right. And it's starting to rough up a little bit. If you notice there, that wasn't a lot of margin of error right there on your left. And I've seen water during heavy rainstorms come down this thing just like it's a river. A rough spot here. We're going to hit the switchback, which again is very rough, rutted, rocks, ruts. And we're going to turn the corner or turn the curve. And now we have cliff on the right and mountain on the left. You can see it's still partially daylight out, but your trees block a lot of that sunlight, so it makes it a lot darker when you're in the forest. All of your light is blocked. Looks like we're moving along at a pretty good clip here, so we're doing all right. I'm going to switch back here. It's really rocky. There's a campsite there that's always available. Well, I say always available. I have seen people camping in there. And we managed to make it around that one. We're going to climb on up again. You can see in the dash cam here, there's a lot of rocks through here. It's kind of rough. You can see from the way the Jeep is moving up and down and left and right where we're hitting the high spots and the low spots. And we're coming up here on another little oopsie daisy, as I like to call them. It's where the water runs through during heavy rain. Kind of forms its own little river. Like I said, we got a late start this day, but we did plan on coming up here to spend the night and to camp out. So, as our day had it that day, we were not able to get up here earlier. And then towards the end of this video, you're going to see us go back down. And you'll be able to see all of this in the daylight. Got a rough spot here. A couple of little hills to get over. Nothing serious. And we're coming up here to this other switchback. Well, I thought we were, but I guess it's up a little bit ways further here. Yeah, I think this is our little switchback here. So this area that we're going to go around, go watch my lights here, is quite a big area to pull off and camp. There's a lot of camping right here to your left. When you hit that tree in the fork in the road, go down to your left, and there's probably close to a half a dozen primitive campsites down there going on down the hill, and it's also a beautiful hike if you're just looking for a place to go for a day hike. And then we're kind of getting up here into another rough spot. So like I said, this is not an area that I would advise you to go without four-wheel drive. Pickup truck, yeah, probably. I've done it before. You get kind of into a rough area here with some rocks. But then it smooths out a little bit more. And we don't have a cliff anymore either at this point. It pretty well starts to flatten out as we're getting to the top of the mountain. If you also take a notice, you got some aspens now that are starting to appear up here. They like the higher altitudes. Right now we are probably at about 10,005, 11,000 feet now. It gets chilly up here at night, even in the summertime. So bring winter gear. Make sure you bring a sleeping bag with a 0 rating or below. It does get chilly. Now, most of the time, very rarely have I ever seen fire bans up here. If there is one, Jefferson or Clear Creek County will post it at the bottom of the trail and say that there is a fire ban. But you have access to a lot of firewood if you're dead and deteriorating trees. You do not need to cut down a live tree. First of all, a live tree will not burn. So don't even attempt that. I see that and it just disgusts me when I see a perfectly good live tree chopped down and then people find out that it doesn't burn. Live trees do not burn. But there is plenty of dead. There are plenty of fallen trees here that have been deteriorating for years. It makes excellent firewood. And here we get into a rough curve. And this one right here gets you pretty good. And as we start climbing this area here, we start getting into a lot of rocks. Yeah, don't cut down trees for firewood. There's plenty of stuff, you just need to go pick it up. And so this area right here starts to get pretty rocky as we get towards the top of the mountain. It's not traveled very often. Very few people venture up this far. And we are soon approaching our turnoff where we go to camp. So here we go over some rises. Gets kind of rocky through here. I'm running a full LED light bar across the top of my 93 Cherokee. It does a great job. I'm very impressed with the lighting that it puts out. It's been durable. I think we spent about $190 for it, and that was about the time they first started coming out. Like I said, you do not have to put a lot of money into a Jeep or an off-road vehicle to have fun. I know the people that have over $100,000 invested in their Wranglers, and they cry because things get broke and things get dented, and it's just something I just don't care about. Things break, they're cheap to fix, and if they get dented, it's called a souvenir. It's straightened out here. It gets kind of rough through here. Take a look. See the Jeep just kind of bouncing around. We're going over rocks and ruts. And folks, make sure that if you do any trails, anywhere, I don't care what state you're in, make sure you stay on the trail. Look at the new growth of trees to your right. It would be a shame to destroy those. Stay on the trail. Stay on all trails that are designated for vehicles. You might be able to make it without the trail, but it isn't worth the environment. You know, for us to be able to protect this hobby and to protect our access to national forests and BLM land, respect the trail. Stay on the trail. It's very important. Colorado is closing some trails because of abuse and the destruction of the ecosystem. We don't want that. This is enjoyable, it's fun, and we want to protect it. And you know, another thing is if you see trash, even though you didn't leave it, pick it up, drag it out, get it out of there. Protect it for everybody and the wildlife that live there. Remember, this is their home. We're just guests. And here we go on up a little bit more. I think we're trying to get our bearings here because it got dark. And I think we decided we have to go up a little bit more to get to our campsite. And we're looking for the turnoff, which leads us down to where we are going to set up camp, pitch the tent, build a campfire, make some food, drink some beer, and enjoy the evening. And I think we located our turnoff. I don't know why I'm not turning at this point in time. Looks like I'm backing up. Maybe I got scared. And here we go. There's our turnoff. And this is going to lead us down approximately 400 to 500 feet downhill on this trail, which will lead us to our dead-end spot where we love to camp at. It's very secluded, and it is a dead end. We did discover a mine. In fact, I'll post some video on that soon, on the abandoned mine that we found. And we recorded that in 2019. And here's the little trail leading us down to our camp spot. There's probably 20 primitive campsites down this little trail here that I took. It's flat. It's really nice. And there's some great hiking here. There's some great trails. Wonderful scenery. You will absolutely love it. Just remember, if you come camping, pack out your trash. If a fire is allowed, make sure that fire is totally extinguished. Completely extinguished. And if you don't know how to do that, we'll be posting some videos soon on camping tips. It'll show you how to do that. It's really hard to get all of these put together because I've been doing this for 40 years and I've been videotaping most of my adventures for approximately the last 15 years. And so I have about 15 years worth of video footage and videotapes and wildlife that I really want to share with everybody. But I wanted to show you an easy, simple trail to get started on that won't tear you up, that's safe and yet secluded. It's called Hidden Trail. It's just south of Idaho Springs. And this is where we're going to camp for the night, is this location right here. Like I said, we do have a resident mountain lion who lives right here in this area. And he does keep an eye on things. He's never caused any problems. He has wandered through our campsite at night when we're sleeping, just looking to see what we might have left behind. But he's never attacked. We just share space with him when we come up here. So that, my friends, is the trip up. A little bit of daylight. And here, we're now going to start the trip downhill. It's probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I really wanted to show this to you on the way down because it's a lot more visible. As you can see, we've got a light breeze on this day. Skies are blue, it's clear. As I said, it's probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're going to start our trip out of here and get back down to Idaho Springs. So we're going to post that in another video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. And make sure you hit the subscribe button if you like this video. We're going to be putting together a lot more. Like I said, I got 15 years of footage that we are going to upload, and exciting places in Colorado, trails in Colorado, road trips that we've taken in Colorado, which include ghost towns. There's some paranormal stuff because we are paranormal investigators, and we've hit some really good hot spots for paranormal activity. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications, and that way we can let you know when we've posted another video. So we're going to save the trip down for another video. Thanks for watching, and join us again.